My name is Justin, and this is Ryan, and he's my right-hand man, and my sidekick. And we're in a band together. Not that kind of band! The kind of band that has performed thousands of shows all over the world, including 3,000 shows on the Las Vegas Strip. Not that kind of Vegas, this kind of Vegas. Now we turn our attention to doing good in the world, spreading our love, and inspiring others. So, welcome to our world of chaos
and kindness.
You were late.
Sorry.
We were suspended 200 feet above the ground. The sun had set, the darkness upon us, everyone had left, and we had to think to ourselves, can we pull this off?
Right now, local, state, and federal authorities are working to determine what caused a horrific crash on a New Hampshire highway last night.
Right now, we know Route 2 is closed as state police just begin their investigation.
New information about that crash that killed 7 people last night and injured 3 others.
You could see motorcycles dumped all over the road, and you could see people on the phone frantically calling, people pacing back and forth, and just, they were lost. Everyone went into action and just helped.
We wanted to do something special. We wanted to go above and beyond. So here we are in a crane, 200 feet in the air for 24 hours to raise money, to build a monument, and to help the families that are affected by this tragic accident. We had to make this one count, not for us, but for them. Just before 6 p.m. on a Friday, June 21st, an accident that shook New Hampshire and the entire nation unfolded.
I don't know that I've ever seen a crash with this much loss of life.
This was a mass casualty event with the number of people that were killed and injured here.
We came up here to enjoy this beautiful scenery, and all this happened.
10 motorcycles on Route 2 in Randolph, New Hampshire. Military veterans, Marines, just pulling out of their hotel, only 100 feet away, when an oncoming truck pulling a car trailer collided with them head on. 7 motorcyclists perished, while 3 were hospitalized. You can imagine the scene, the devastation that left 7 people without their lives.
It's tragic. It's tragic for those who are involved. It's tragic for the families. So, we're doing our job tonight. We're doing our work, and our thoughts are with the people that were adversely affected by this.
We get asked all the time to help other individuals. Given the nature of what we do, we field hundreds of messages every single day. And when this tragic accident unfolded, we knew that people wanted us to rally people together to make a difference, to be a voice. So we had to go big, we had to be bold, and we wanted to move fast, to raise money to build a monument that people would never forget. What's going on Facebook Live? You may or may not have heard there was a very tragic motorcycle accident that happened in the town of Randolph, New Hampshire. And Ryan and I are trying to find a way, something dramatic that we can do to raise money to memorialize these individuals by building a monument that would carry on their legacy. And we're kind of trying to come up with some ideas that would be groundbreaking, that would catch people's attention, that we could raise a lot of money fast so we could build something just incredibly special.
We've learned in the past that the best way to raise money fast is to raise eyebrows. We'd come up with this idea to lock ourselves in a tiny cage and bring this cage 200 feet in the air with a crane and stay in there for 24 hours.
First and foremost, you have to find a crane that's big enough. So we reached out to our friends at American Crane in New Hampshire, and they were so kind to donate a crane. You probably have to get nauseated at being that high, just sitting there like this all day.
Maybe. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of firsts we'll experience up there and be like, oh, I didn't think of that. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, let's bring some Xanax and a Zofran. We'll be good to go. just in case you get anxiety. I want to sit in this thing. I don't think you can sleep in this, dude. The first time we saw the bucket that we'd have to spend our 24 hours in, it was a little bit smaller than we had thought. In fact, this is built for more like one person, not two full-grown men. That's gonna be tight.
It'll be tight.
It's gonna be really tight. We're just like this. I mean, I'm already sore and it's been 3 minutes.
It sounds scary being 200 feet up in the air in a tiny crane, and in a lot of ways it was.
We'll be in this box, which is only 5 feet by 3 feet, for 24 hours.
The thing that kind of freaked me out the most was being in the crane with Justin the whole time.
And you have to eat X-Lax.
What?
No?
X-Lax?
Well, I'll think of something. But either way, it's gonna be insane. With only 3 days before we could pull off this stunt, we had to find a location. And it was not easy, because these cranes are so massive, they take up so much space, and they can damage the ground. We had our work cut out for us to find the exact location that we felt would make the most impact.
So this is gonna go with it. This is part of the assembly process.
Okay.
The legs come out, 4 legs come out, and distribute the weight on top of those big red mats.
Okay.
That's why we have such a big footprint.
That's 20,000 pounds?
Comes in a little bit higher, it's metric, so it comes in a little bit more. When it has all its weight on it, it has 178,000 pounds of weight. This is just partial load. It takes 4 of these trucks loaded to freight this.
This is not just a simple process. This is the biggest crane in New Hampshire.
So you're gonna stay in the cage, right?
Yeah, we get crazy, but we ain't dumb. We got families, man. We're married. Coming up after the break, even only several feet off the ground, you could feel the cage starting to sway.
I think that's when the actual reality of what we were doing hit us the most.
We're gonna build a memorial that will live on for a long time in the town of Randolph, New Hampshire. We had to find people that really knew what they were doing.
That's amazing. So much detail, dude.
It means a lot. I know it means a lot to these guys.
You guys ready? All right.
It's game day. 200 feet in the air, 20 stories for 24 hours in a tiny cage in 90-degree heat. Whose idea was this? Mine. But it's gonna be fun. Have you guys seen us play ladders before? I'm Justin, nice to meet you. Ryan, do you have drumsticks?
Way too much testosterone.
I know this is your first day, buddy, but don't be nervous.
This here is what he calls the messenger bucket. So he's rigged a design so we can pull this bucket with whatever objects we need in it all the way up 200 feet to get to us. I think we have to be more afraid of the actual sunscreen itself, because I don't know what is going on with the color of the sunscreen, but I'm used to just like putting on a thin layer and not being able to see it. Instead, I somehow turned into a ghost.
Are you kidding? What is happening? Do you look weird?
Yeah,
you look like you already died before we started the stunt.
Kids, up in that crane, being all hoodlamish. Your safety is our #1 concern. The only thing I really see that could put a damper on this, other than a health issue that comes up for you guys, dehydration or something, would be a storm rolling in. If we have any word of lightning, to the ground and away from the basket.
Like any great stunt, there's always a danger, from heat exhaustion to wind to lightning, and we knew that this would be a difficult task, but it was one that was bold enough, big enough to get enough eyeballs to raise enough money to do something so special, to build a monument that people would never forget.
This will be tight.
Okay.
Undo this.
Okay, clip it.
Just guide it down to us.
Okay, so we throw the harnesses on. We're good. Let's roll. What's the official time? Okay. We'll be back down at 1 o'clock.
We are about to go on.
So here we are in this 5 foot by 3 foot cage, strapped in, about to go 20 stories in the air for what we hope is 24 hours to raise money for a good cause. If you're in Hooksett, New Hampshire, exit 90, let's see, what is it, 93. Come up 93. You'll see us on the truck stop, whatever. Let's do this.
Right.
Once we got in that crane, you could feel how intense it was gonna be. Even only several feet off the ground, you could feel the cage starting to sway. And that's when it hit. We were gonna have to spend 24 hours suspended 20 stories in the air in 90-degree heat.
Most people are deathly afraid of heights, and when we told them what we were about to do, I think they were a little worried about our own safety.
All right, that's high enough. Dude, look straight up. Coming up after the break. Now we have to survive the night, the mosquitoes, the wind's coming, this thing's starting to swirl a little bit.
This isn't really a game anymore. I think that's when the actual reality hit us the most.
We're gonna build a memorial that will live on for a long time in the town of Randolph, New Hampshire. We had to find people that really knew what they were doing.
That's amazing. So much detail, dude.
It means a lot. I know it means a lot to these guys. You guys ready? All right.
We were suspended 200 feet above the ground for 24 hours to raise money to memorialize the 7 fallen soldiers who lost their life in this tragic accident.
We come for you!
When we get to the very top, you can hear the cheers and the words of people just slowly dissipate and turn into... That's the wind.
Only about an hour in did the heat start to play a role. As you get higher, of course, you're more exposed to the sun. We had no way to protect ourselves. The sun is unrelenting at this point. We're just coated in sunscreen, and this thing is just swaying so much. So we're going to get some nausea, but staying hydrated. Got a pillow.
I had this random thought pop into my head, which is probably not a smart idea, but I wondered if I could go the entire 24 hours without drinking any water of any kind. So I stuck with that, and I decided I would try.
So we need some food here, and we have this really cool pulley system that can bring the food up in a little 5-gallon bucket 200 feet in the air. This is our first attempt at it, so let's see how this goes.
If they pull up and you pull down, basically they'll lower you the hook, you just hook it onto the bucket and send it.
They're up a lot of feet from here, and I'm sending up these bubbles to them, and they're gonna have a lot of fun with them.
Yes, I've been following it on Facebook. I've been watching them. I mean, it's like, it's crazy what they're doing, but they're doing it for a good cause.
It didn't take long for our amazing fans to show their support. Down below at the rest area, you can see cars pulling in.
Came down here to support them, and these guys are great.
I love Chaos and Kindness. It's so tall.
You can hear cars honking on the highway. People bringing us notes, toys, and games.
And they even sent us some marshmallows.
When you have ADHD, being locked in a cage is not a fun experience.
It starts to get a little boring, to be honest with you. You have to be kind of creative. So we invented a game.
Right now we have tons of fans below us, 200 feet, and we're throwing marshmallows from 200 feet off a crane through the wind, and people are catching it in their mouth. We've had 3 so far. Oh, let's go. Yeah! We got it! Yeah! We got it! Yeah!
Once the sun went down, that's when you could really feel how hot your skin was. You could tell you spent the entire day in the heat, and that it was gonna be a long time before that sun came back up.
So we're heading into nighttime. We survived the day, sunburnt. We're 8 hours into this thing. Now we have to survive the night, the mosquitoes, the wind's coming, this thing's starting to swirl a little bit. Sunrise is gonna come early, so we ain't coming off this thing. We're committed.
Eventually the sun went down. A lot of the people left, and that's when it starts to get a little bit eerie. Because it starts to get dark, a little colder, and you realize that this isn't really a game anymore. You have to stay in this thing overnight by yourself. And I think that's when the actual reality of what we were doing hit us the most.
Ryan's up. Ryan's up. It is, what's going on here, Ryan?
What time is it? It is 10:41 p.m. and we live right now?
Yeah, look at how sunburnt he is. Look at his hair.
Especially right here. It's a whole
this is
different
our view of
world.
our cage. Here's a tour of our apartment. Here's our megaphone, battery chargers. This is it. This is the whole apartment right here. You're looking at it. This
Say
is
hi
all
to
we
our
got.
fans. We're Facebook Live and say hi to the fans.
Chris down in the crane. What's up?
That's Chris. Chris is in the crane. The crane operator is the guy who's making this whole thing happen. These guys are staying up overnight with us, not sleeping. We've got the view. We hear horns. A lot of fans have left, but every minute we hear a new horn beep to us and kind of keeps us going here. So we're only connected by these cables.
This is what holds the door open. And
that latch opens up the door. We don't want to do that, but that's all we got. What are you gonna do tonight? You gonna be able to get some sleep?
I feel pretty awake right now. I think I'm gonna play with these strings for a little bit, and then I'm gonna play with this.
Pretty safe to say, not much sleeping going on tonight, as you can imagine. And that sun's gonna be up here in a few hours. But we're past our halfway goal for raising money, and we're not leaving this friggin' thing till we raise enough money. They're trying to raise money for a tragic accident involving 7 motorcyclists. We want to build a memorial for them.
Coming up after the break, we knew if we were going to build something of this magnitude, we had to find people that really knew what they were doing.
That's amazing. So much detail, dude.
It means a lot. I know it means a lot to these guys. You guys ready? All right.
We were suspended 200 feet above the ground for 24 hours to raise money to memorialize the 7 fallen soldiers who lost their life in this tragic accident.
It was just me, Justin, the landscape, a lot of fog, and our thoughts. In that moment, really reminded me of the importance of what we were doing, why we were there. And that was to raise money for people who are going through something so drastically beyond what we're doing here in this cage. And that's why we wanted to help. because whatever we needed to do, no matter how difficult it was, we didn't care. We were there to help somebody.
Coming up after the break.
We wanted the memorial to be something more than just flowers or a gravestone. We wanted something that represented what this motorcycle group was and how important these people were to each other.
Wow. It's absolutely incredible, guys.
It's a very emotional day for us, for me. Like Justin said, it's my first time back. You guys make it a little bit easier to be here. 3, 2, 1.
It's 5 a.m. It was a rough night. It got really cold, moist. Cage was moving. No space for our legs. But we only have 8 hours to go. So let's go.
When the sun came up, it was the most beautiful sunrise I had ever seen, looking over New Hampshire. And when that sun came up, we felt re-energized. We knew the home stretch was upon us. We could see our fan base growing at the base of the crane to bring their support, food, energy. Fans are pouring in their donations.
Please support us.
We're getting closer to our goal to build a monument that people would never forget. This gave us the energy that we needed to last 24 hours.
I've never seen anything like this.
This is awesome.
I mean, they're crazy, but
This is crazy.
yeah, this is crazy. It's a good cause. It's the 7 motorcyclists.
Died in Randolph.
Yeah.
And we followed Recycle Profession for a couple years now, and we helped with the toy drive, and we just love their kindness. And we were here last night, and we came back to buy our t-shirts.
Yep.
We wish them well.
2 hours away from accomplishing our goal. The sun has come out, full effect. We're burnt. Our sunscreen is, to say the least, is the only thing saving us. But we're gonna pull this off. We have just about met our goal so that we can make this a very special fundraiser and do something really cool with it. And I want to say thank you to our fans, but it's getting emotional.
Finally, after 23 hours and change, it was almost time to get lowered down to the bottom. And man, were we excited about that.
As the crane got lowered down and people started cheering, it's an experience I'll never forget.
We knew that we had done it. We knew that we had raised money to help the people that we wanted to help.
We felt so loved. We felt that our stunt was appreciated. It was the coolest moment to see all those fans the moment we stepped out of that crane. Chris, how are you, man? Thank you. Thanks for coming back. That was awesome. Hey, thank you guys for coming to hang out with us. And we're gonna build the coolest memorial for those 7 motorcyclists. And you guys coming out here and supporting us. We're a little tired and sunburnt. Ryan still has not even had 1 sip of water the entire time, so it was not super fun. But it was worth it, so thank you guys for coming to hang out with us. Make some noise for these guys. They stayed up all night with us, so. I have to be honest with you. There's a lot of things that we get into that we just do because they're fun. This This was deeper. This stunt had a lot of meaning to us. We wanted to go above and beyond.
Hey, can we do one thing for us? Would it be cool if we all do one big group picture?
And when the fans were down there and they're surrounding us, and we shared that experience with them, that was so fulfilling that it was going to help us on the journey on the hardest part, which is building the monument for these 7 amazing individuals who lost their lives.
We made it 24 hours. It wasn't easy. All I know is that through this stunt and each and every one of you who's donated, we're going to build and create a memorial that will live on, for a long time in the town of Randolph, New Hampshire.
And we do begin tonight with breaking news out of Randolph, where 7 people have been killed in a serious crash tonight.
We wanted the memorial to be something more than just flowers or a gravestone. We wanted something that represented what this motorcycle group was and how important these people were to each other.
I've spent a lot of time with them, and they're the most wonderful, most caring Marines. I mean, Marines, like I said, are a tight bond of brothers and sisters, and the families are tight. We're just one group, and we all have one cause.
This monument was to memorialize the 7 fallen soldiers who lost their life in this tragic accident. To do something for them and their families, a place of healing, a place that would represent them, the love that people have for them, and to make sure this tragic accident is forever memorialized and a legacy that people will never forget.
So my goal was to get in touch with the motorcycle club called the Jarheads, which is the motorcycle club that these motorcyclists belong to. A gentleman named Manny, who is the head of the Jarheads, who was actually riding right beside Lee and the 6 others who passed away. Made contact with him about 10 days ago. He said, let's talk.
On the 2nd episode ever of Chaos and Kindness, there was a gentleman named Michael.
I do stare down terminal cancer every day, but I have absolutely zero intention of letting it beat me or ever giving up the fight to have that 1 extra second or 1 extra day with my family.
Michael had terminal cancer and has since passed away, but we built him an incredible monument, one with him and his 2 sons.
That's just incredible.
This monument will carry on his legacy with his sons forever, and we found inspiration in that to do something very similar.
We physically wanted to bring back the bikes.
Exactly how they were, replicate them with steel and airbrush, and put those at the site of the accident. We're gonna go down and see Manny today.
Okay.
I'll have Manny look at it first and see what he thinks. We knew if we were gonna build something of this magnitude, we had to find people that really knew what they were doing, and also people that cared.
I'll come in here on weekends and sit with them. Yeah. Whatever we gotta do to get it done.
So we reached out, and a great company, Summit Metal in Plastown, New Hampshire, they offered to help us, and we couldn't wait to get started. Coming up after the break.
It's a very emotional day for us, for me. Like Justin said, it's my first time back. You guys make it a little bit easier to be here.
3, 2, 1.
This monument was to memorialize the 7 fallen soldiers who lost their life in this tragic accident. To do something for them and their families, a place of healing, and to make sure this tragic accident is forever memorialized and a legacy that people will never forget. So we reached out, and a great company, Summit Metal in Plastown, New Hampshire, they offered to help us.
The vision was to create 5 motorcycles.
Exactly how they were, replicate them with steel and airbrush.
To bring them to life in full color, with angel wings on them, that represented the people that lost their lives that day.
Was this the first one?
Yeah, that's our first trial one.
Right now, this machine is cutting out one of the motorcycles. You can see some of the details of it and how they're gonna put it together. It's really cool. I love like the wing concept that they come up with there.
We also cut out some wings that were gonna mount on the side of the bike. Those were also cut on this machine. And at this point, the next step is we'll send them into sandblast and get them ready to be painted.
How much each one of these weigh, you think?
A couple hundred pounds. 2 guys can pick it up pretty easily.
But it'll be 2,000 pounds when it's all done.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna primer this all black. And he's gonna come in and airbrush every detail on both sides of this for the bike itself. The wheels, the fenders.
Tim and his crew at Summit Metal went so far above and beyond. They would text me late at night after hours talking about how they were working so hard to get this thing done and how much it meant to them.
But as we get 1 or 2 done in the afternoon, and I'll come in here on weekends and sit with them, whatever we gotta do to get it done.
As fellow motorcyclists, they knew how important this would be to get it right. We had the right guys for the job, and they were knocking it out of the park. We're gonna have to cement the ground.
Yep. Well, you can do 1 of 2 things. You can cement the ground.
Or a steel plate.
We can do steel plate, but I think in order to ship this, that's something we're gonna have to do when we get it there. I'll lay it out on the plate here in the shop and put the holes in the plate and we'll bolt it once we get it down on the ground.
So basically our goal is gonna be get a massive piece of steel, 30-something feet long, have it pre-nutted. We can drop this on top of it at the location.
All we need at this point is where are we putting this?
Finding a location for this monument was also a challenge. The head of the Jarheads Motorcycle Club, Manny, who I'd been in contact with throughout this entire process, reached out to the hotel that they were staying at. And they agreed to allow us to put the monument on their property forever. And that to me spoke volumes of how much people care. Coming up after the break.
It's a very emotional day for us, for me. Like Justin said, it's my first time back. You guys make it a little bit easier to be here. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1. This monument was to memorialize the 7 fallen soldiers who lost their life in this tragic accident. A place that would represent them and a legacy that people will never forget. Today we're at Summit Metal Fabricators and we get to finally see the finished product of this incredible monument. For months we've talked back and forth, visited, looked at the progression of this monument, and today it's all finished and we get to see it in all of its glory. So let's go inside and get this started. The pictures don't do it any justice.
What's the weight on this thing?
4,000 pounds.
Okay, 4,000 pounds.
Long, 5 feet wide.
That's amazing. That looks so good. The paint looks so good.
So
Wow.
the plate is,
This stuff is like,
reinforced the bottom. It's got steel runners so that we didn't get the flex in it. That's why.
this is amazing. So much detail, dude.
Over 100 hours.
Of airbrushing?
Yeah, I think airbrushing was the most
out of all of it, he's got the most time.
Him and I would stay at till 8 o'clock at night, some nights, trying to get it done.
Yeah,
Looks absolutely incredible, guys.
It's crazy. Like,
is that door open to the outside? I was absolutely blown away. Just the artwork, the airbrush was all hand done, bike by bike, to the exact replicas of the bikes that were in this accident. They were in order of their ranking in the motorcycle club.
with angel wings on them that represented the people that lost their lives that day.
So much thought went into this. It was breathtaking. After months of hard work, today was a day where they actually get to see and unveil the final piece of this monument.
Justin.
Justin.
Oh, yeah. Nice to meet you.
Our patch members, family members here as well. The Frozzy boys are back there. Desmond's son is here somewhere. He's here somewhere. I personally want to thank you, all of you. I might take a couple deep breaths, but I personally want to thank you all. It means a lot to me. I know it means a lot to these guys. A bit overwhelming, but we'll get through it. I want to thank you. Of course, thank you very much for everything.
The vibe, the mood, the environment that day was something you can feel. It was deep, it was heavy. It had been the first time I'd visited the crash site. And a lot of people, including Manny, the head of the motorcycle club, it was the first time he had returned back to the crash site since the day of the accident. So we knew this was gonna be a very emotional situation for everyone. First, I want to try to put this into words the best I can. This is the most nervous I've been in a long time. The day that we'd reveal this to the motorcycle club and their families, and for all of those who want to support this amazing cause. When this tragedy happened, instinct was to try to create something, a memorial that would remember these 7 individuals who I never had the pleasure of meeting, but that's okay, because this is humanity. I feel incredibly unqualified to speak. I feel unqualified to present this. I feel unqualified to be here. We are surrounded by real heroes, real men and women who've served this country. This is about remembering the jarheads, their families, their loved ones. It's very humbling that you're visiting this site for the first time since the accident. I know it's emotional for a lot of people. So I want this to be something that is seen as a positive. There's been a lot of grieving for the last several months, and this is here today for those that want to remember these individuals, and only that. So thank you, and I'll hand the mic over to Manny.
I'm gonna ask for forgiveness right now. This is a little emotional, to say the very least. Thank everybody here on behalf of the Jarheads. It's a very emotional day for us, for me. Like Justin said, it's my first time back. You guys make it a little bit easier to be here. I have no words to describe how I feel. Unless my patch members have anything they want to say, I just want to say thank you on behalf of the Giants. This means everything to us. We thank you, each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. You good? I'm good to do this. You guys ready? Good? I'm good to do this. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1. Hey, let's give these guys a round of applause.
We have made 44 episodes of Chaos and Kindness. This one was the most important. Because of the tragedy that people experienced in Randolph, New Hampshire, the hurt, the pain, the unnecessariness of this entire event, how it could have been prevented. There's so many angles to this. That crane stunt, spending 24 hours in a box being suspended 200 feet in the air, did exactly what we set out to do. It got the story out there. It got people involved. We raised enough money to donate over $20,000 to the motorcycle club to help the families heal. And we were also able to build an amazing monument, one that will memorialize these individuals forever. Their legacy carries on. This accident will never be forgotten from people from coast to coast. This is one of the most tragic accidents in US history. And for me, I'm so thankful to have any part in this, to be able to facilitate a healing environment, to bring people together, to be somebody who's responsible for bringing the motorcycle club back to the accident site for the first time. That's powerful stuff. That's something I take a great deal of pride in and am very humbled by. So I hope everyone who watched this episode today understands how much love and care went into this, and forever you keep those 7 individuals in your hearts and your prayers, and that you continue to support the motorcycle club and the individuals who are still here mourning the losses of those veterans. And remember, in a world full of chaos, it's important that each and every one of us always shows our kindness.